Oh, look at this. It's me, Joss Blick, and it is not official, but it's fall. Yeah, got my fall super scarf on while I sit here eating some breakfast, having a good old time. So, oatmeal, walnuts, very good for blood sugar. Some green tea in a giant, and then an old favorite. So, my boy, Tom, my sweet child, uh, is not feeling well. So that's kind of why this started so late. I spent a lot of time last night just kind of checking up on him, so I'm pretty tired actually. Probably gonna go back to sleep at some point. But yeah, it was just kind of one of those things where we took him on their vet visit, him and Mochi, and in that, um, they were fine. Tom's got like a bad tooth, so we got to get that fixed. Very expensive. Um, but they took blood, and he just didn't feel very well afterwards. He ate his dinner, and then he just kind of went off in a corner in the closet. He has like little sleep spots that he moves around periodically throughout the day, and actually throughout the season. And yeah, he went to his little closet cubby. And he didn't really want to come back out. He came out a couple times, go to the bathroom, get some rubs, but for the most part, he didn't really want to eat or do anything, which is understandable. When I have to go to the doctor and get blood work done, I don't typically feel great afterwards. So it's kind of where he is right now. He is starting to eat. He's very upset about how they accosted him, and at the vet, you can tell he's unhappy with it. Mochi's got a bad attitude. She's been growling and hissing for no reason when he walks past her. They're cats. They are, they are. But they're my kids, man. These are my babies. So I worry about them. I worry about them all the time. My sister-in-law, boo, Mackenzie, thank you. Yeah, it's just kind of how it worked out. You know what I mean? Like they're vets. The vets are kind of, they tell you stuff, and was up? Hey, Audrey. Said bad. Yeah. Um, I'm bad. Why am I bad? I'm confused. You gotta elaborate. These quick comments don't really, no need no need to be rude. I'm just trying to understand. Why did he do that to you? What did he do to you? Hey, Lillian. But I'm gonna ignore you. I feel like that's probably the best way to go. So in that, they're not really happy right now. You know, they're they're like most cats. They're not bad. They're just haters. Thank you, Audrey. Yeah, for the most part, it's just kind of how it came about. It worked about, but they're gonna be okay. They're slowly kind of acclimating back to all the things and how they work and they do all those things. My sister-in-law, many years ago, made me this gigantic scarf, and I always put it on in the fall. Half the time in the studio while I'm working on stuff, So I'm just got this huge scarf on, and I'm painting, and I'm working on all these things, and I'm trying to get stuff going, and it's just kind of how it goes, you know. You have to. I always tell people like put your favorite things on when you're able to. Are you a singer for the Counting Crows? Wow, that's the oldest reference I've heard. You threw a '90s reference at me. Jeez, the Counting Crows. I actually met that guy. I met the main guy once, a very long time ago. I'll tell you the story. Since you're probably the only other person who knows who the Counting Crows are. So I'm working in Georgia. I've got these roommates. And they they are dating this girl. Is the best way I can think to describe it. They're both dating this girl. And she breaks up with the Canadian one, for the Israeli one. Like they kind of realign in a way. But her cousin is the front man. Check your lip, bro. Yes, it's supposed to be there. Thank you, though. 2U420 blaze it. The answer to that, I think you already know the answer to. And so I go out for a weekend and I come back, and sitting on the couch eating the last of my cereal is, my bad, thought this was a cornflake. No, oatmeal. It's in the title. How did you miss it? Nararu, yo brother, how are you? Matt P says he loves to smoke ganja Bob Marley style. Nice. I mean, it's an interesting correlation, but all right. He's sitting there eating my food, and my roommates are just kind of looking at me like, "Oh my god, it's the guy from the front man from the Counting Crows." And it's this white guy with like dreads and like chunky dreads, and I was surprised. He smelled nice. He looked like he wouldn't smell nice, and so it's a lip ring. I don't know what the lip check thing is. It's a lip ring. I've had it for probably longer than some of you have been alive. And so he was, no worries. He's there and he's just kind of like chill, and he's like, "Oh, hey man, how's it going?" And I'm like, "You're eating my food, man. What the hell?" I'm like, it's all good. I used to have roommates before I was famous. It's not a big deal. Old head's got to eat his oatmeal. Nice. It's a sneak diss. I like that. You sneak diss me. Look like cereal from Seattle. Like muesli? Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, he's just like snot. He's like just going full hog on my food. And of course, you're in your early 20s. You don't have extra money. You spent all the money you have just like buying whatever you could buy. And this time it's like ramen and like cereal and pasta and just basic stuff. And this dude is just going ham on like all my food. So I'm just like, damn, don't want to worry you, but you may want to check your lip. Wow. Okay. I don't get why this is like the ongoing joke, but I'll take it. It's a cornflake on your lip. Well, I don't really have any cornflakes. It's just a lip ring, but you rock on. I guess I don't. Have you guys never seen a lip ring before? I'm kind of confused. I think it's because you're eating. Maybe. I'm far away though, so that may be also the aspect. 37 going on 67. Who, you or me? I'm in my mid 40s, so I don't feel like I'm quite there. But I appreciate that you think I look like I'm 37 though. Thank you so much. You might drop a joke. Go for it, Austin. Go for it. Let me see that mug, dude. Alright. So, a very long time ago, I got this. It was middle of the night, like you do, and I saw it on TV, and then I kind of searched and searched and searched online until I could find it. It's a sick mug. Like it's a cool mug. I take it when I do art shows a lot, and it's great. But you do have to make sure you drink from the right side. Because you drink the wrong side, you just kind of like poke yourself in the eye. It's not as cool when you're trying to like impress people and get people to buy art. But it's a fun mug. I've always loved it. And yeah, it's just kind of fun. It's nice. I like to work on. I was trying to make like shows. I was trying to work on shows in the best possible way that I can. Make them as interesting as they can go and do. And it's just kind of what you do, man. I mean, you got to figure out a way for those artists who come in and look at this. I know other people are like having fun and whatnot, but typically, a lot of artists come here and they have questions about shows and how to like sell your art and all these types of things. And from that, you have to kind of figure out a presentation. And a lot of times, like little stuff like this, gets people to come over, and it's super chill, like the big scarf, the cough, the giant rattlesnake mug, all these things. Thank you. I dig your vibe also. And it's Grandpa Kush. Nice. Thank you, Corey. I'll take it. I'll take it. One day, we'll roll one together. It'll be great. But yeah, you just have to figure out kind of how to really get people interested at first, because they don't like see your art, they see you, and that's kind of how that works out. Me, Canada? No, I'm originally from Trinidad and Tobago, actually, so a bit further south of Canada. But yeah. Y'all are ridiculous. I'm not doing this anymore. You said you're in your 40s. I am in my 40s. I am 42. I'm about to be 43 in March, actually. Which really isn't that close of a time frame, but you know, it kind of works out the way it does. So, this thing's hot, so I'm taking this off. But yeah, I think a lot of times with art and everything, my hair is everywhere. A lot of times with art, you ever make body oil art? Body oil art? Booty oil art. My mistake. Still feel 25. That's cool. Oh wow. No, Matt, we're gonna put that away. That's not going up. No, I don't make booty oil art. I don't even know what that is. Does anybody know what that is? Cause I feel like, thank you, Brave, for the sub. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I feel like a lot of art and a lot of like trying to make art is there's kind of like these ways in which you go about things. I'm a strong believer in like your practices are what really get you comfortable. And I figure when you're comfortable, that's when like the art really kind of comes out a little better. So, is what it is. I think like all these things they kind of roll in together and they come together. And that's just how you do it. So yesterday, for those who follow the channel, I did my sketchbook gang, which is typically like I draw and then we kind of talk, and if people want to draw along with me and send me art, they're welcome to. Um, we can do what I still do to this day is I have a Painter Files podcast uh, email. There we go. I really didn't sleep last night. I'm sorry. My brain goes blank every once in a while. So it's Painter Files podcast at gmail.com. And you can send all your like art musings while we kind of make stuff together. And yeah, it's actually really nice. It's super cool. I used to have a podcast. I don't really know that I technically have a podcast. I mean, it still exists, but I haven't made any episodes in the last while or so, which is kind of how that worked out. I did it for like a couple of years, and then there was a whole kind of thing that went on with Spotify, and they bought out the company that owned the podcast company, and so my revenue kind of ended abruptly with them. I had signed new contracts, and when I tried to, they kind of blocked me, and they discredited a lot of other podcasts, and so it didn't really happen. I still have one on. I still do have a podcast, but it's on my Patreon, and it's just for those folks. We talk about all the things that are going on and the stuff of like art and etc. Like it's just kind of one of those things. I got to go back to these comments. I'm seeing uh, the oil makes your booty more comfortable. Thank you, Corey. Let me see. A lot of booty oil, chakra centered, painting, zen. Okay. You're roasting me hard on this. That's cool. You've ever heard of Joe Rogan? No. Tell me. Tell me about Joe Rogan. I'd love to hear your definition of Joe Rogan. I think that'd be amazing. Does he also sell booty oil? It feels like he sells booty oil. It feels like that's exactly what he sells. Actually, the more you think about it. Let me see. That's why we have two cheeks. Well, one for the sun and one for the moon. Okay. That's too funny. Bros podcast comes with vinyl. I wish. I wish. That'd be sweet. It'd be sweet to have a vinyl, actually. Like, you feel like you got me, but, like, in actuality, like, that would be awesome. That would kind of be amazing if I could figure out how to do that. I have done quite a few album covers for people, though. So I do technically exist as far as vinyl goes, but not in the sense of the way you want to make fun of me, which is fine. For the most part, though, I'm just kind of working on a lot of art. I'm going to try and work on some art today. I got to clean up the house a little bit. I got to make sure the cats are okay. Just regular stuff. Regular things. What kind of art do you showcase? I showcase... Well, thank you, Vibe Space. Thank you. Well, you know what? We're going to let that roll. Let it ride. There you go. Yeah. And it's... I mostly just... I do a lot of murals, and I do a lot of murals, and I do a lot of just this lip thing. It's crazy because like I get in a vibe, and then you guys say the lip thing, and it just throws me, and I appreciate it. It keeps me on my toes, so to speak. I don't even know. I lost my train of thought. I was just laughing about it. For the showcase artworks that I've been working on recently, I have, let's see, are you a studio artist major, or do you have to learn it on your own? Um, I did go to school. I went to school in Savannah, SCAD, a very long time ago, like 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago. And I learned a lot about making art and how to kind of peruse and go through stuff, how to figure out how to kind of get the best to have like an idea and then put the idea together. I guess it's kind of the way that it works out. So in that, art school is great. I don't necessarily think you have to go to art school. I've never really felt like you have to go to art school. I think I honestly only went because I didn't know what else to do. And it was nice. Like, it was cool. I met a lot of really cool people. I met some professors that were a little intense. I met some that were super chill and we're friends to this day. It's just kind of interesting how it all works out. Years ago, I put out my last book, which was a zine, and it was a bunch of crows, paintings actually. This is one of those. This was like the final page of it. And I don't know, I just feel like it's kind of how it goes. I'll show you what I worked on yesterday. How about that? While being cooked, as you say, because I'm old and I don't understand half the words you guys say. So I put this together. I've made it for years. Crows are very smart. I always thought that was really cool. Oh, you're a digital art major. That's so cool. I always had a really hard time getting into digital, making my own digital art. I think at the time, like, it was all very new technology, so I was struggling to kind of get it going. And like the professors I had in art school were kind of learning it as they were going, so we were kind of on scale at the same time. So like we asked them questions, they were like, "I don't know, I'll get back to you," and that was generally like their kind of thing that they did all the time. So it was strange. I learned a lot more from like the people I was in classes with, and that was just kind of how that worked out. And I think I'm still friends with quite a few of those people to this day. I so the projects that I sometimes work on when I'm trying not to be art blocked, essentially as an artist, is I draw a bunch of kind of little panels and squares and whatnot, and then I just fill them out one by one, over and over and over again, and they just kind of go and they do stuff. And it's not really like a representation of like my work per se, but it is more kind of the representation of like all the little projects that I want to work on. They're very like sketchbooks are to me are like this idea that you work on, you know? And I always tell people, I'm like, if you ever feel stuck as far as like you're not sure what to make as far as art goes, make a bunch of squares and then just fill them in with textures. Like, you'll be surprised how the effort of doing that really kind of gets your ideas going on what you want to do as far as art goes. Let's see. What am I doing? What am I doing? I think the Python figured out that fucking triangle because he was high on the hypotenuse. Nice. I get that. I get that joke. I do get that joke. Let me see. You put the grandpa blanket. Can you put the grandpa blanket back on? It's hot, man. I can't just put stuff on all the time. It's not how that works. Let me see. You generally a dope artist, man. That's really cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think if we're lucky, we make art that like gives people inspiration to make their own art. Like I've always referred to myself as like your favorite artist's favorite artist. Like, I'm friends with the people who you buy art from. And like they are as chill and as cool as you think they are. I've been doing this just for so long, like we came up together. And it's interesting to see them kind of bloom and blossom and me do the same things. Like, I got murals everywhere, I got a lot of private collectors, I got all these things. I got books out, I got all types of stuff. So I think in a lot of ways, like, it would be cool to be as big as they are, but it's also kind of amazing to just be like the person who like makes you want to bust out your sketchbook so you can work on something, or make you bust out a canvas so you can work on something. Like, that to me holds a little more weight than to be hot right now, because like that's just like a lineage, you know, like a timeline, and you move forward on that, and that's cool. I think a lot of times, like with the way social media and everything works, like we think about likes and subscribes and all this stuff, and like that's cool, but like that only exists in the moment. It doesn't exactly trust the process. It only exists in the moment. It doesn't exist in the long term. Like you're not you might like something on the web, but like that doesn't mean you're gonna like buy it and hang it up in your house. I had a friend who was a naval photographer. He was a naval battlefield photographer, and he used to always tell me that there's a different quality of photography that is taken to look good on different platforms. To have something printed out and framed and hung up in your room or made into a poster that you put down somewhere is a very different type of work than per se moving the Red Bull. Than per se to like the work that you want to keep and collect and like save forever. So in that way, I'm happy with what I got. I'm happy with what I do. I think it's fun. I like Bud. Let me see. Sar Smooth says, I like body horror art like those old PlayStation advertisements in the 2000s. Have you ever considered doing stuff about that? I mean, I've done so much work throughout the years. Like, I've been painting for over 30 years. So, yes. At one point in time, yes. I did try. It just wasn't, I wasn't cool enough to pull that off. I'm not a spooky guy. I'm a very tattooed, like, dreadhead from the Caribbean, a Afro Latino West Indian who makes a lot of work about like nature and like surrealist type works. Since you guys are here, you can help me out with something. I got a show coming up in October. It is not a spooky show, but it is a show. And I'm trying to figure out what artwork I should make into prints, and you can help me because I got a lot of work. This is like a this isn't even like 5%. This isn't like 1% of the work that I've done. Just to clarify, so that you understand. Some Silent Hill art from the game Throw In. I can see that. That's cool. I subscribed because you were okay with my booty little comments. Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So I got some pieces that I want to make into prints for the up and coming show, and I want you to tell me whether you think those. What in the world? Somebody's trying to call me? No. No respect. So yeah, I've got stuff that I want to do for like the art show. So I was thinking like I want to take a few of these. I'm just kind of gonna run through these, and if you have questions, tell me stop, and I'll stop on something. I kind of want to just like get a bunch of ones that I can do that I can make into prints and I can just kind of sell for the show, because a lot of people really like art, but they don't necessarily have money to drop for original artworks at like little festivals and stuff. That's not where they come from. The first, let me see, looks really half. Let me see. The first picture looks very half life, except okay. I like that. That's cool. I'm not making NFTs. I will never make NFTs. I have no. I'm just not going to. I don't see the purpose in that. I think NFTs are kind of a flash in the pan type of thing, and they're not good for the environment. So I'm not about that. And to be honest, most of the NFTs I've seen are not made up of good art, and I don't really want to be associated with that part. So, but I get asked every couple of years, every couple of weeks. You like the last one a lot? Thank you, Smooth. I appreciate that. And so I'm kind of just like working on those. and trying to get that work going. But I've never really been a big fan of like a lot of digital art. I think some of it's amazing, but I grew up being like a traditional artist, so I make paintings, like physical touch stuff. So for me, like the disconnect of even like a Apple Pen on an iPad, I can do it, but I can't. My brain just doesn't correlate that like without the texture that I know there's like stuff you can get like paper smooth and stuff like that. My buddies own tattoo shops and stuff, so they go through a lot of that stuff. But I'm just not. I'm not huge about it. I don't know. I'm not. It. I don't feel that same inspiration when I make digital artwork, the same way I do when I make physical artwork. I love paint and ink. I've been a sponsored artist for a long time via. We'll go back to your Silent Hill art, as you said. Um, I've been a I've been a painter forever, and it's just kind of who and how I make art. That's how it works for me. I tried years ago to try and get into some of that stuff, and it just didn't. It didn't quite grab me. So, but I do love looking at it, though. I think some of the digital art people make are incredible. They're just really powerful pieces, and I'm always blown away by that. Lucky cat right here. Say way about you. I don't know. I don't know. Let me see. You have sort of a moody style. I think you could actually do some spooky stuff if you really wanted to. I could. This is true. I don't know. It's just not my thing. It's not what I do. I think a lot of times, a lot of artists. I mean, it's weird. I'll make a bunch of weird art, but I've never really thought about spooky. When I'm inspired and I start making artworks, it's not. It just doesn't go that direction for me, type of thing. I want to play a game with you guys. I've been meaning to do with people for quite a bit now. And in the chat, I want you to tell me your top 5 hip hop artists. And if it's anybody I've never heard of before, I'm definitely going to listen to it while I paint. So feel free, go crazy. Let me see. That big baby reminds me of Buddha. I really like it. Thank you. I mainly got into digital art to do 3D renderings. A little afraid though, because I've heard of digital artists getting fired from game studios, etc. Yeah, I've had some friends who worked for like Bethesda Studios and they got laid off. It's a hard field, honestly. Like it's got really, really long hours, and you don't always get paid very well, and you could be pretty much fired at any point in time. Like there's not a lot of job security. It's scary. I mean, all artists kind of live that way, but I don't know. You figure if you work for like a multi-billion-dollar company, you have a little more security, but being an artist is kind of a gamble that way. Like you make art. Hopefully it resonates with people. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it does when you work for companies and then they go, oh, that's great. And then they steal it and then they fire you. So it's kind of one of those weird things. Like I wish I had better advice for you on it. Let me see. All right, so Star goes. Tribe Called Quest. Fantastic. Big L. I think I know who that is. Let me see. Beastie Boys. I'm trying to think of 2 more. Okay. That's cool. Beastie Boys. In no order, Nas, MF Doom, Mac Dre. I can't think of 5 either. That's cool. I mean, that's cool though. Those are good lists. Most Def, great choices. These are cool. These are cool. I grew up mostly listening to a lot of music from the Caribbean and a lot of music from, like, my cousins were from Brooklyn. So we had a lot of like Wu-Tang, we had a lot of Like, I'm trying to think. We had Wu Tang. We had everybody from Wu Tang. We had NWA. We had. I'm trying to think who else. There's so many people. The Dungeon Family. So it's like Outkast and Goody Mob and stuff like that. Um, wow, I can't think of five either. I mean, those aren't my top five. Those are just the ones I grew up with. My top five would probably be like Bus Driver. Um, I've always liked Bus Driver. MF Doom. There's an indie dude called Milo. I like him a lot. Um, I am a big Mos Def fan. I saw Mos Def live a really long time ago before he changed his name. Um, and then the fifth would probably have to be maybe like Calle 13. I do love A$AP Rock though. A$AP Rock is definitely an honorable mention. I think A$AP Rock gets slept on a lot because I think a lot of people don't know who A$AP Rock is. But Long Legged Larry is still my like get up in the morning, get my day started type of music. So that's cool. I find some of it just kind of interesting. Like I find a lot of people. I'm surrounded by artists and musicians and actors and stuff like that in my field, and so and writers, poets, and so like their lists are very eclectic and different. And it's always funny because like some of them are like old heads for all intents and purposes, and so they hate on like new rap like real hard. They hate SoundCloud. They hate all that stuff. And I don't think all of it's bad. I think some of it's bad, but I don't think all of it's bad. I think there's some really interesting artists out there that are just fun. You know? Do you have a favorite movies list? Ooh, jeez. Um, my movies list is kind of weird. Like, I gotta be honest. Like, what's your favorite movies list? And I can kind of gauge whether you're gonna judge me for mine. Um, my favorite movies list. I grew up really loving like the original Crow movie. Like that was really beautiful for me. Empire Records was fun. Juice was a big one. Garden State was funny. I'm trying to think of these movies that like were introduced to me when I got to college. I like some of David Lynch's movies. Those were kind of cool. Let me see. What else? What else? What else? What else? Fantastic Mr. Fox was always a good one for me. I like really kind of artsy, drawy movies. The Squid and the Whale. Like weird little movies. Weird little movies are kind of my favorite ones. Stranger Than Fiction. What else? I never really cared for Donnie Darko. I do like some Wes Anderson stuff. There's some good stuff. Wes Anderson's movies don't age well though. It's kind of the weird thing that I've noticed as time's gone by. Like if you go back and you watch some old Wes Anderson movies, like they're not really as good as you would like them to be. Some of his characters are just assholes, and it just you just want to punch them in the face. Let me see. Paris, Texas changed my life and got me into becoming a digital artist. The colors made it look almost 3D. It's about a man who lost for years, reunited with his family. That's cool. I'll check that out. Let me see. So my list goes Paris, Texas, Akira, most Kurosawa movies, of course. Kurosawa is amazing. I mean, there's never a debate about that. I do love Akira. I fell in love with it a long time ago, and then I started reading all the compendium mangas, and that kind of got me really into it a little more than I was before. Das Boot, Sorcerer, Train Spotting, There Will Be Blood. There Will Be Blood is one of those that like people love it or they hate it. It's kind of interesting. It's an interesting movie. I don't really. I've made art for so long that like I just kind of sometimes take stuff in that people make, and I just take it in, and I don't have an opinion about it at all. I take it in and I see it as the art that it is, and I just accept it as the art that it is. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. I like a lot of like old Japanese movies. Those are probably my favorite ones, like Kamen Rider, Godzilla. I'm a huge Godzilla fan. I'm a junkie for like wrestling and stuff like that. I grew up being born in the Caribbean, and in Latin America, you watch a lot of wrestling, and soccer, football, and baseball is actually really popular too, and cricket, and they love tennis, but I was never a big tennis person. Another movie that people love or hate, I love is Barry Lyndon. I'm not sure I remember that one. Barry Lyndon. Oh man, I've seen like Shampoo, like Samurai Champloo. That's good. That movie's hilarious. I've got family in Japan, so I visit every 2 years or so. That's cool. I have not been back to the Caribbean in, thank you very much. I have not been back to the Caribbean in about 15 to 20 years. I mean to be, but it just hasn't. Money, man. Everything costs money. It's difficult. It's very difficult to get all that put together, particularly when you're a homeowner. You still gotta pay bills. These days, my life consists of a lot of music, a lot of books. I've been kind of chucking through books the last couple of months. So I finished about 3 books in the last month or so. I like to read about 4 to 5 books at a time, and I just kind of put them down. I sit down, I read a little bit, I put it down, and then I just circulate through other books. And that's kind of fun for me. I am currently located in Maryland. Maryland can be interesting, but mostly is very boring. Honestly. Yeah, I don't know. I'm working on trying to get all this stuff going. So, for the most part, it is what it is. Oh, no wonder you had friends who went for Bethesda. Yeah, exactly. Bethesda Art. I live near the city of Bethesda. Not Baltimore. No, I live in Silver Spring, Maryland. Well, I live kind of in between Tacoma Park, Langley Park, Silver Spring, and Southwest DC. If that's any type of quadrant indication for you. I remember when I first started in art school, they had us like learn CAD. CAD was how they started us off trying to learn how to do digital art, because everything was like 3D renderings. It did not reach the point where like you could get like a pen, well, like a Wacom board or anything like that was possible, or an Apple Pen and an iPad. There were no iPads. There were no Wacom boards, and so you had to kind of do like a battleship type of thing where it's like B16 to B42, and that's how you made a line. And it was very boring, and I didn't love it. I do play video games. I love like Ghost of Tsushima. It's probably one of my favorite video games right now. I liked Spider-Man 2. That was fun. The Killer's Dead was good from Suda51. I'm interested to play again now that Lollipop Chainsaw is coming back out. I'm interested to play that again on some systems. I originally, when I was younger, I used to play video games because I really loved playing video games. And then as I got older, they became more kind of like a midway point in between working on a bunch of different paintings or projects. And I would do them to like de-stress. And so that's kind of how I play them now. Hey Jen, how's it going? Have you tried The Last of Us? I have tried The Last of Us. I really loved The Last of Us. I never played the second one. I don't know why. I just never got around to it. I keep meaning to, but I just haven't yet. I do know the spoilers though, which is fine with me. I don't really care about spoilers. If I want to play something, I'm just gonna play it anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. Let me see. The Last of Us remake and 2 on PS5 is a cinematic experience. The Last of Us 1, the part with the giraffes, I had never seen anything like that in a game before. Just the sprawling aspect of it was just so beautiful. I did this mural once for this grocery store chain where I did this giraffe that was like poking its head up through the ceiling, and then on the other side, I planned to do like a head poking down and eating something, but it never really came about. I only pretty much got to just finish the whole thing, and that was basically about it. If I had really got to play it off perfectly, I would have done the neck going all the way across the ceiling, coming down on the next wall, and then biting a piece of like produce or something. That would have been fun. But you are kind of you do have somewhat of constraints on what you are allowed to do when you do work for other companies and stuff like that. Like they do have things that are like, yeah, no, it's not gonna happen. And you're just like, okay, well, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Oh well. Let me see. That's cool. You did The Last of Us, inspired the project. I don't remember if it was before that or not. It was so long ago. It had to have been like 12 to 14 years ago. So maybe. Let me see. Ghost of Tsushima was amazing too. I wish they had a sequel. I'm told there's gonna be one. I'm told that the next Let's Play in September, they're supposed to announce that the Ghost of Tsushima 2 is coming out on PlayStation 5. Which I gotta admit, I'm very excited about. I didn't think I would be so excited about that, but like I really am. Like that game is just so beautiful. Like I love the aspect of like being able to be like a samurai and sword fight and all that stuff, but it's just a really beautiful game. I like playing it in Japanese. And then going back and forth on whether I like it in black and white or not, preferably, because like the colors are so vivid. Like I don't think you need. I think it's cool to see it in black and white, like a Kurosawa film, but like at the same time, you don't have to. So I'll start tweaking the moment they announce it. That's cool. Yeah, I'm just happy with it. I'm very happy with it. Obviously, my inspirations on occasion, I'll throw stuff out. I'll rewatch like Adventure Time or something like that, and just let myself go and just be weird. Have like weird little art ideas that kind of expand and grow into other things. I think whatever inspires you, you should lean into. I think there's too many artists out there that feel like they can't allow themselves to have outside inspirations. And the truth is, like, everything inspires everyone. It's how we live. I don't think your ideas aren't original. I just think there's nothing wrong with being inspired by other people. I think that's partially what makes so much art so great. Like, it's just kind of amazing that way. Earlier I meant tweaking, like shaking my booty. Good. I'm glad I brought that on for you. Thank you much. All right, Galeras. I love our conversations. This is fun. I'll do this again next week. We do it every week. This is the end of Penner's Breakfast, as I finished my breakfast a while back, and I got to get back to making some more art, because, you know, it lives in your veins, and it pulls itself through. So until next time, Galeras, be good, be nice to yourselves, and I'll see you later. Penner out. Ciao. Bye. Adios.